The other day I created a little video of me playing some classic Hillsong Worship and Hillsong United riffs on this very Gretsch guitar, and it was intended towards guitar players in church, but I wasn't expecting the video to be shared and saved by so many people around the world. And my friend Justin Chan, who runs an amazing YouTube channel all the way in Singapore called All About Worship Guitar, sent me a video of his little daughter Claire having an absolute jam to me playing these classic Hillsong United and worship riffs, and it brought such joy to my heart. And the biggest thing that brought a lot of joy to me when I posted that video was so many people saying how these songs took them back to their youth days when they started coming to church or going to youth group, and a lot of them got saved with these songs, and it brought back a lot of memories, and it played a crucial part of who they are today. And for a lot of people who are my age, it was the songs of their childhood, and it just brought back such great memories. But I also got a lot of messages in regards to how these songs inspired a lot of musicians in church, and a lot of the songs that are created in the radio and on TikTok and even in church these days aren't really inspiring people to pick up an instrument. And if they are picking up an instrument, a lot of the music that they're influenced by isn't the stuff that is played in church today. So how can we inspire younger musicians and even older musicians who want to join the worship ministry but don't really like the music that's played today? You know, be interested in playing at church and serving with their musical gifts. But a question I received before all that was, were these songs actually any good, or are we just basking in our nostalgia from our youth and childhood days? I truly believe that these songs were amazing, no doubt. The way that the songs are written, both lyrically and musically, they were just so organic and raw. They were so easy to sing and really simple to play. You didn't need to have a bajillion backing tracks. These are songs that you could play in your kids ministry, in your Sunday service, in your youth night. And I remember that these songs were being sung by my mum, my dad, my cousins, and even my grandma. That's how you know these songs were awesome, when these songs crossed generations. I mean, for crying out loud, if you can sing one way on a Friday youth night and you can sing it on a kids ministry, or you can sing it on a Sunday morning, you know you've got a good thing going on. My grandma was singing one way. And there's a reason why a lot of simple songs that are played in church resonate with a lot of people. Songs like Waymaker and What a Beautiful Name are anthems for a lot of people these days, especially with young people, because they're not hard to sing and they're not hard to play, but they get straight to the point of the gospel. Now, there is no doubt that there is a decline of young musicians in church. And the reason why is, I think there's two main factors. One, a lot of the music that is being made today isn't inspiring a lot of kids to pick up an instrument, both music on the radio, TikTok, and in church. You know, a lot of the songs these days are very heavily processed. They rely on a lot of tracks, and a lot of these songs that we grew up with singing in church, they just required you to bring an instrument and create some riffs, create a beat, and really work on that. And the songs were just organic and raw. They didn't have to have a bajillion layers. You know, that's just the day and age we live in with young people. Instead of picking up an instrument, they pick up their phone, go on TikTok, and start doing all this stuff. And another reason is a lot of musicians in church don't know how to adapt their instrument into the music today, and therefore they don't know how to teach, you know, upcoming musicians how to play, you know, their R&B sounds in church that a lot of kids are listening to, a lot of pop sounds, and implement it into playing at church. And that kind of intimidates a lot of young people wanting to join the worship ministry. For me, growing up in church, the music has evolved so crazy. It's amazing. Like, I grew up listening to, you know, Darlene Check and Don Moen and Ron Canoli, and growing up it evolved into the whole Blink-182 punk rock thing, going into United. And about 10 years ago, when I started to join worship ministry and into my youth days, the sound was transitioning out from that punk rock United sound into the new sound that it is today, with the whole young and free synth pop thing. And for me, it was awesome. I absolutely loved it, and it wasn't so hard for me to transition my instrument from that punk rock sound into the whole synth pop thing, because a lot of rock elements were in there. And a lot of young musicians these days didn't grow up listening to a lot of rock influenced sounds like the sounds that were in the Hillsong United albums, Hillsong Worship albums, where you had a lot of guitar riffs and awesome bass lines and heavy drum beats and all that. And because a lot of the young people that are listening to music these days, if they do wind up picking up an instrument, a lot of the music they're listening to is R&B and pop. And if they try playing in a church situation, it gets quite confusing because the sound that they're used to playing doesn't translate into whatever music we're playing in church, because the music that we play in church is pretty much synth pop rock orientated. There's still rock elements in there, having overdriven guitars and big drum beats and strong bass lines. So one of the things that we need to do as musicians who want to inspire the next generation, or the older people who want to join worship ministry but don't like the music, is how can we have a holistic approach to our instrument to be able to incorporate their flavor and their style into the music that we play today. I believe that there will always be people who are interested to join the worship ministry and to serve with the musical gifts God has given them. It's just up to us, for those who are more experienced, to put in the time, the effort to help cultivate their gifts and to really learn how to adapt our instruments into the music that it is today and show them how to do that. Do I miss the time and age where there was so many young people wanting to join the worship ministry and pick up an instrument? And do I miss those times where we would sing those classic Hillsong Worship and United songs in church on a weekly basis? Absolutely I do. So I believe that we as musicians in church have a responsibility to play in encouraging the next generation by not only using our instruments to teach others to play music, but using our instruments to build relationships with others and to inspire them and to show them to different sounds, so that people like little Claire Bear, when she gets older and wants to pick up an instrument, or if you have any youth kids who want to pick up an instrument and play in church, they have inspirations and they have a reason to enjoy playing at church and to create new sounds and new music. What was an approach that I did with young musicians and helping train them and start getting into an instrument and playing in church? Well, one of the things was I got them to learn how to play 4 basic chords of the song Best Part by Daniel Caesar. Once they got 4 chords in, they were like, teach us more. So taught them more chords, different songs, different beats, and just led to a progression over time. And I think doing stuff like that, by investing time in getting them interested in the music they're interested in, will inspire them to want to grow more in their music, and having a more holistic approach does that, rather than just sticking to, oh, you got to play these songs from 2006. That doesn't work that way. They're gonna have a different sound from us, and I think that's exciting, and I think that they're gonna take music forward. Who knows what it's gonna look like, but we just got to be open to it, and we got to learn how to continue to adapt.